Hey guys, today I'm going to show you something much more practical. Instead of just talking about AI in abstract terms, I want to show you Google's anti-gravity, which is definitely the next generation IDE, and I think this is so cool because it really shows where we are heading towards. Like, if you don't know how to code, you're a vibe coder, etc., check this out. Definitely, if you know how to code, that's even better because you will know exactly how to maximize the potential use of it. But this just, it speeds up everything because of what it can do, and I will get into that a little bit later. That's what this video is about. I'm going to show you how it works, just as simple as possible. This is, by the way, my first time recording with OBS. I have never recorded with it before, like using this camera, and while recording my screen I'm using my webcam, so it might suck, but and also, like I said, I'm not that experienced with this. But anyways, basically, AntiGravity is an agent-based AI development environment built by engineers who have worked deeply with large-scale systems, AI infrastructure, and agent-based architectures. You will see there's no fluff, etc. It's built for working with AI as systems, not as isolated chat prompts. And by the way, I recommend you to head to antigravity.google, download it. I don't know what OS you use. I use Windows. Maybe you use Apple, doesn't matter. Just head to the website, download it. And instead of with anti-gravity, instead of just asking questions, you define them. You define you don't, not the question, you define the agents, you define the responsibilities, the tools it's allowed to use, the context. It is much more operational than conversational. AI is much more operational here. And I'm just going to, yeah, I don't seem to have started. There we go. Here it is. If you can see, it has a very similar feel to VS Code. You see the sidebar to the left here, Explorer, search code, source control, run and debug, remote extensions, containers. If you use Docker, yeah, the extensions. This is probably the most important one. Anyways, now to the cool part. As you can see here, we have Open Agent Manager, or you can use it also here, Open Agent Manager, or you can do CTRL, Control E, and there you go. Here's the Agent Manager, and this is the most, I think this is the coolest part. Of course, this is the main thing with anti-gravity. And here we have the workspaces to the left. These are some things I worked on. Here I did earlier like a demo that I thought I'd be using also for this video. Here are the main workspaces basically, and here's where you create. Each of these is basically an agent. You can create an agent like this immediately, simultaneously, and working on parallel projects meanwhile. So you can send like one agent that reviews the dashboard, one agent that updates it, one agent that goes and searches for leads, etc., etc. You can do parallel things or tasks basically by creating several agents for different purposes, and doing different tasks. Yeah. Anyways, down here we have the playground, and I recommend you starting here. If you're using anti-gravity for the first time, you should check out start using the playground. As you can see here, it says playground is an independent workspace perfect for quick prototypes or following your curiosity. You can always move playgrounds into a new workplace to organize your work. We're going to create here a new playground or a new agent just to work on it. And a basic level anti-gravity, basically it lets you, like I said, you define the agents, you define what tools they have, the goals, constraints, everything is explicit. And we can build something small, not a real app, not an SAS, just a simple dashboard to show you like how it's how the thinking and the actions are connected. I create first. This is just a temporary, like I said, an isolated demo type. So I have to also mention this to it so it doesn't start confusing. Also, like, of course, the prompts and like I said earlier, the prompts are. The better you are with prompts, it's much more better because you will be much more concise. You will get the results you want. You can also control the AI better and give them better better instructions, but that's not all. That's not the main thing about it anyways, but I definitely recommend it though. Just giving it the instructions. We're going to create, like, we have to create hypothetical data, stuff like that, fictional, because it will need, if I'm going to create like a dashboard for just to show as a demo, it will need something to work on, you know, something to show. It is already in the playground and it's sandboxed anyway, but anyways, I'm just to make sure. Whoops, it is. Sample data will need to, okay, I'm going to going to give it its role also. You are a business strategy demo agent. Your purpose is to demonstrate how AI agent can analyze a fictional business scenario, generate a structured dashboard, propose example actions, analyze input data, identify bottlenecks, and propose concrete next actions. Why not? And also what to track. Let's give it a task. It can track. Yeah. We can render. This can be rendered in. We render this in a table, a dashboard, client view. Yeah, that's good. And this is for educational purposes only. An educational demonstration. Accuracy is less important than clarity and structure. Yeah, this is a really long prompt, but I want it to be as good as possible. Should I give it a... Nah, this is enough. Anyway, let's give it the prompt. Okay. This might take some time. You can even tell it to speed up, but I'm going to try and refrain from that. And this is the cool part anyways. Like now, while it's working here, as you can see down here, it says working. I can already I can already send another agent and be like, hey, do this or that. Do some okay, now the dashboard is not created yet, so I will not tell it to review, but I can tell it immediately to hey, do a review of the dashboard, blah, 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 etc. Anyways. There it started. Okay, now I'm hands off. I'm not doing anything. One important thing to understand about anti-gravity is that, like I said earlier, you're not limited to a single agent. You can run multiple agents at the same time. different role, working in parallel. Instead of one agent trying to like do everything, you can split responsibilities, and that is much more effective. It's like almost like having several employees, basically several employees doing their jobs. Like while building this dashboard, you can have one agent focused on the data, one focused on structuring the dashboard, one focused on reviewing the output. Like I said, each agent has its own role, its own constraints, and a specific task that work simultaneously. So here, while the main agent is generating, I can send out another one, but I won't do that now because I want you to see this instead, like how it works without me doing anything. I've just given it the prompts, and and it's working, as you can see there. Soon it will. Perfect. I created a comprehensive AI business done for you. This is a clean. The dashboard showcases. Okay. That's great. So we can head to and here it's asking for permission. It might do this, it might ask you for permission while you're working, especially at the beginning. So you will need to give it several. Okay, doesn't seem to. There we go. Here's the website it created. Think about this. It did this in a couple of minutes. Nothing was like, not an hour, not some days, immediately. Here's the KPI, the summary, bottlenecks, like I mentioned to it, recommended action plan, what steps we should do next, short term, long term, detailed customer segment, reasoning and insights. Here the mention of it's educational only. This is great, like done in a couple of minutes basically. And here you can see the work that it did meanwhile when it received the prompts. And now I'm going to go through like what MCP is and like what makes AntiGravity so special also and cool. It's here. We can go over to MCP servers. These are the MCP servers, and MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and it is a standard way for AI models to interact with external tools, systems, and data in a structured and predictable way. And the core problem that MCP solves is very simple. It's how do we give AI an access to the world outside the chat without building custom integrations every single time. Before MCP, you can see here we have Stripe, GitHub, Notion, PayPal, Supabase. Yeah, and you can also, of course, add several MCP servers. You just integrate and connect them. Anyways, before MCP, every tool required custom code, every integration was unique. The AI had no understanding of what tools existed. With MCP, we expose tools. Tools expose themselves in a standard format. The model knows what tools exist, what they do, how to call them. You can even prompt and tell it specifically, and what kind of data they return. This turns AI from something that answers questions into something that can act. As you can see there, it created a website. Now I don't know why, because sometimes I have already given it allowance to use my browser, but now it did not do that. But anyways, I think that's because it's in the playground. Yeah, it's because I didn't do it in the workflow. If I had done this in the workflow, it would have opened my browser, etc. It would have done all of these things. It's quite cool seeing that in action. That's why I recommend trying it out. Anyways, without MCP, you say like fetch data from the database, and the AI will reply, I can't paste the data. With MCP, the AI sees a tool called, for example, getMetrics. The AI decides to call the tool, receives structured data, reasons over it, and produces an output or action. And I will show you a picture of the loop. And the loop looks like basically AI, tool, data, AI, reasoning, then finally action. And that is a loop and is the foundation of agent-based systems. And what AntiGravity does particularly well is that it's already built around this MCP mindset. When you run an MCP server in AntiGravity, tools are exposed to the agent. MCP defines the contract and the model chosen when and how to use those tools. You don't script every step. You define intent and constraints. And that is the difference between automation and intelligence. So this is the next level, basically. Like they said, this is an advanced or evolution of IDE. And like you connect agents to, you can connect agents to the MCP tools. For example, one tool to read data, one tool to update the dashboard, one tool to give, you can give the agent single instructions, analyze the data and update the dashboard with the most important actions. And with that, what happens is important because I'm not clicking, I'm not deciding things or steps, I'm not moving data manually. The agent reads, reasons, decides, and acts. And this is the shift that most people miss. This is not about like delegating responsibility. No, this is about, this is about delegating responsibility. Because when you think about it, when an AI can read from real systems, reason with constraints, and act through tools, you are no longer automating tasks, you're delegating decisions. So you can definitely delegate responsibility. So to summarize this, AntiGravity gives you a workspace for AI agents. MCP gives those agents access to real systems. Together they turn AI into an operational decision layer. If you want more practical AI videos like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe. Thank you for the support, I appreciate it. And I'll see you later and share more news and thoughts about AI. Peace.